Hezbollah, and all of these terrorist organizations are looking at this, and they see it as an incredible threat to the Temple Mount. And, this kind of went really under the radar, but one of the main reasons that the attack happened, what was it, October 9th, I do believe, October 7th, excuse me, of 23, by Hamas, was they came out and said, because of the Heifers and because of this whole process, that they felt like ultimately they feel that if this goes forward and it's carried out, they're basically going to be wiped off the Temple Mount, and thus with it goes the Dome of the Rock, which is probably the most sacred site in all of Islam, right?
Well, it's interesting. There's a lot there in that. The Dome of the Rock actually is very very unappreciated in Islam.
Oh, wow, okay.
No, it really is, because for them, the two holiest places are Mecca and Medina in Saudi Arabia. And then the Jerusalem, think about this. Jerusalem is not even mentioned in the Quran. Not even once. And so, but what you have, this brings up the next point though, is that the Arabs and the Palestinians are masters at propaganda. And the left and the media, the legacy media, they're gullible. Either they're willingly ignorant, or they're just bad journalists, or they don't understand history, or again, they're just gullible to believe all the propaganda. So this is why even many in Saudi Arabia, I mean, one of the purists in Saudi Arabia are saying, we don't care about Jerusalem. We don't care about the Temple Mount. Even the Dome of the Rock, that's just it's a shrine. It's not even a mosque. The Al-Aqsa Mosque is there towards the south side of the Dome of the Rock. The Dome of the Rock was put there, in the 7th century. Again, as a memorial, but they don't even really care. They acknowledge, like the people in Saudi Arabia, they'll acknowledge that the temple was there, that Jerusalem, it's the Jews. So it depends on who you ask. But again, today the Palestinians are masters of propaganda, and so they will take any opportunity they can. And so as we know, October 7th happened in 2023. There was never any mention publicly of the red heifers, ever. And then January of 2024 comes. And of course, Israel began responding to Hamas. They began to infiltrate and to remove Hamas from power. And of course, the war started prior to that. Well, again, because Hamas is very smart, they knew that they could turn public tide against Israel. And especially with the Biden administration, which was already threatened and did withhold weapons to Netanyahu that were already purchased. And so they came out and said in January of 2024, one of the reasons that we attacked is because of the red heifers. They had never said that ever. Yeah. So they're opportunists, and they took advantage of the situation to leverage it. And remember, I had talked to Byron in November of 23, and he told me at that time, hey, Mondo, we're planning on April of 24. For the ceremony.
So literally like a month removed from the attack.
Yep. They were still planning it.
Green lights all ago for April of 24.
Yep.
For Passover.
Green light. Yep. So obviously once that came out with Hamas, pressure began to mount politically, geopolitically for sure. And from the powers on high with Netanyahu is like, you're not having a ceremony. We can't throw gasoline on we're fighting for our existence here. Yeah. And we're not going to risk alienating the Biden administration. So sorry, the answer is no. And it squashed it. Boom.
Yeah. So it's kind of fascinating. So you are definitely of the thought that they just were opportunists and wanted to use that as a finger pointing to say, we came in and attacked you, and we're just going to say this is why. You did these provocative things that are going to wipe us off the Temple Mount. But the interesting thing that you said, which I'm so glad you're sharing with today, because we talked before I hit record about how we're so far removed in the West from a lot of the things that are happening over there. And we have to rely on whatever sources we have. And the sources we have are poor at best in a lot of instances. So stay tuned to Prophecy Watchers, because they'll help keep you a little bit more up to date, and Mondo will take care of us. But it's fascinating because, it seemed to be this was the huge hinge point for them and the whole reason behind this. And I know on their flag too, like the Hamas flag, I believe is the Dome of the Rock. And so this is just one of those things where they're just using anything and everything to try to point the finger back.
Oh, absolutely. And if you think about the history of Hamas, I mean, Hamas came into power in 2007. So let's go back to 2008, 9, 10, 11. There was no red heifers discussion. They don't need a reason to kill Jews in their mind.
Yeah.
It's just they're very, so again, this is why I call it opportunistic, where they had been causing havoc and terrorism, since 2007, far earlier, before the red heifers ever came into the picture.
Yeah, and I want to state here because, again, education for me, and I've done some other education here lately too with some other folks that have studied it more than I, and then dug in myself to kind of look into things. Every time we've tried a two-state solution, it's never worked. Mm-mm. And this is a case in point of that, because Gaza was given over to these folks, to the Palestinians, quote unquote, to have at it. This is your spot. And every single time we've done this, we've had they have allowed some kind of militant group like Hamas or whoever it would be to come in and wind up taking over. And this has always been the way that it's gone. And that's exactly what happened down in Gaza, it appears. Is that accurate?
Oh, absolutely. I'll tell you what, for anybody that's been along the coast of Israel, I mean, it's a Mediterranean wonderland. I mean, Gaza is an amazing place geographically, that there's been billions and billions of dollars given to the Palestinian groups there after 2005, when Israel unilaterally stepped out. They unilaterally stepped out. I mean, Israel dragged Jewish people from their homes and bulldozed all their homes and gave it over. And so instead of taking all that money, billions and billions of dollars, and creating a resort. I mean, you've seen the video with Trump, like Trump Gaza. I mean, they could have made that, but instead of taking the money for the cement, they like certain cement companies went in there and gave them their technology. Instead of building high rises, they built tunnels. The pipes, like the European Union, they sent over massive amounts of piping in order for sewage and water and everything, and they built rockets with them, rocket launchers. Yep. So you look at what they did, there's no excuse. They could have had we could be tourists there. I mean, we could, but nope.